So at the moment, I am mostly just trying to work towards feeling comfortable enough to do this ultimate race. Finding the time to do a possibly 4 hour plus race has been difficult. So at the moment, I am just trying tracks in the in Old Smokey. Just trying to complete them both with and without Nitrox. Obviously, for Ultimate Race, I'll be using Acceleracers Unlimited and Nitrox Unlimited. But I'm just trying to see what I can get away with, coming out with some solutions to issues. So we're going to have a crack at the Canyon realm? Cliffside realm. I do have someone in a voice call with me. We're just talking about some other stuff related to a game I'm working on. It's just a matter of making the most of my time, so I am doing two things at once, so you're probably going to hear a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense here. But I am definitely, I'm currently working on a couple of projects of my own, creationist-wise, which I'd love to get off the ground. So that's why I'm just doing both at once here. I just am very pressed for time at the moment, so got to use my time a little more wisely. And the Drift Tech challenge is still on. Well, the Drift Tech giveaway, we'll be giving away a Drift Tech when I hit 1,000 subs. I've even considered offering 2, maybe, because I do have a second Drift Tech. It's just a matter of, I have 3 actually. We might give 2 away. One of each wing. We've got a blue wing, an orange wing. I'll see which one's harder to come by. Because I have 2 orange and 1 blue. So we'll give away 1 orange, and then the other one I'll decide later on. I don't need 3 drift decks, and I feel like there's some people out there that haven't ever had an Acceleracers card, that are big fans of the series and just weren't able to get them. I'd love to be able to give one away to someone that doesn't own any Acceleracers cards. I would also love to give one away just as a general thing so anyone can have it. But the only way to do that is get me to 1,000 and be subscribed when I hit it. Once I hit 1,000, I'll put up a questionnaire, and, well, not even a questionnaire, just a submission. So definitely get in there, get subbed if you haven't, and let's see if I can beat the Cliffside realm in Old Smokey. Shouldn't be too hard, right? It's just the loops, I think.
Yes, Cobalt. It's just
Obviously, digital's doing better, but a lot of people, buy it online. I know for a fact that Greater Than Games, which makes Sentinels, have done very well during the pandemic. There was an episode of the podcast not that long ago where they were saying their sales are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
It's just a lot more through their store, which usually is where they make the least sales.
Yeah.
Is through, their own online store.
Which I can understand that. There's obviously a little more demand for nights in with friends and family. That obviously will affect it as much as not being able to go out with mates.
Yeah, but for you, I do think digital is...
I think digital is the way to go with this. Because then we could do... You know how... I don't know how much MOBAs you've played, but League has a rotating... League of Legends has a rotating roster of free characters.
I used to play Smite.
Yeah, so there's a rotating roster of free characters, and I reckon you'd be able to do that, is that there'd be a rotating roster of free characters, as well as you can also purchase the permanent characters.
Yeah, that'll work. And obviously we played Hero Rumble and everything through Tabletop Simulator, which is, in my mind, a really good way to prototype some stuff.
Yeah, I think it's Tabletop Sim is the best way to prototype the crap out of it. Oh my god, does this work? I'm a god at this game.
What are you playing?
Acceleracers.
Oh, right.
I'm driving a semi on one of the drift tracks, but there's a big loop, and because it's a semi, you can't actually take the loop because it's too slow and too heavy. So I fell off, but I managed to land upright on the right part of the track after falling off.
That's pretty fucking good. Yeah, and then off the top of my head, Actually, I think I have it saved.
So yeah, I want to add summoners so that way, if it goes well and there's the option of doing, crossover and stuff, then...
1 sec. I've just got to go tell Justin something.
Sure. That was entirely my fault. If I had Nitrox, that wouldn't have been a problem.
Let me find powers. I mostly remember them now, but always easier for me to have it in front of me.
Yeah. Even when I'm working on it, it's easier to have them in front.
Yeah, that's fair. So, yeah, as you said, grass is pretty easy. Because, depending on the level of control they have over their element.
Well, obviously I don't want everything to have a summoning option.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, like, for explosion, that'd be pretty much impossible anyway.
Yeah.
I have an explosion elemental!
It's just a terrorist.
Metamorphosis wouldn't work because they're changing themselves.
Yeah,
unless you were like, they make fucking growths that split off of them and do their own
it all
thing.
needs to be part of them.
Orb, I've already explained. Psychic could work.
I like to keep Psychic as not very physical, not very...
Okay.
I like to keep all this stuff
I mean, you could
mental.
still do summoning as in, like, it's a summoning mechanic, but it's what they're summoning is, like,
that's another thing is you can do
themselves or
with
something.
summoning. Yeah, that is another option with summoning. One of them I want to have is, like, a structure, and it just spits out, like, stickles infinitely. So you can only have one at a time, but, like, if it dies, you could just summon another one.
Yeah.
So it can't move or anything, but as long as it's not dead, you could just keep summoning these guys.
Beauty, you could make an argument for, like, the exact same thing, but personally I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I think Beauty and Metamorphosis are very much the same.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Beauty is the same as Metamorphosis. It's...
Yeah.
It should be...
Breaking a semi into a drift is not fun.
Electric you could probably make individual summons, but... Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, it's something I'd save for other things. One, I had the idea, I'd have a character that's lore-wise, he has slaves. He's a slave driver, or he's a human trader, realistically. So his summon is that he would, just send out a slave. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a summon per se, just someone they are in control of.
Yeah, as I said, for the 4 basic elements, you could do elementals if that was a thing you wanted to do, but...
Yeah.
Smoke you could probably do, because they
already summon
kind of
things.
summon weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could just be like, this is some creature that they can
summons a smoke monster.
Summon,
summons the smoke monster from Lost.
That's exactly what I thought when you said smoke monster. I haven't even watched Lost. I just know of it. My
it's really
ages
good.
ago, my mum's partner at the time. I think I watched the first episode because I wanted to start, but I got distracted by something else. Yeah, he had the Lost video game, so I know the smoke monster from that. Because I was like, what the fuck is this? And he couldn't explain it to me. And I'm like, I don't like it.
I've watched the entire series 2 or 3 times, and I still couldn't explain it to you.
Yeah.
Nah, the smoke monster's a man.
I'm watching Twin Peaks: The Return at the moment. And, that shit's bonkers. I'm on, like... I just finished episode 7, and I'm like, nothing's happening, but I still could not explain what is happening.
But yeah, so
It's
another summoner idea, like I could have like a mere builder, so a mere that builds his golem.
Yeah, I don't know as much about your different
Well, neither do I.
species.
They're
I
very...
kind of know about the Mia from the card game, but
Yeah. Well, they're very untouched in terms of, like, war building. Like, there is very little done with them. At the moment, I'm working hard on the Aetherites, just trying to, like, build their native environment. Because obviously for them to change into the form of whatever they see, they need to be able to see something. So I'm trying to, like, determine what creatures are on their planet, which meant determining the nature of their planet and everything, and its slow rotation and all this sort of stuff.
yeah.
And obviously...
I mean, when you're stepping into, like... Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, obviously, like, when trying to create creatures for one planet, at that point it starts being just create creatures for every planet, and hence there's the list of, like, 200 creatures or whatever it is I fucking made.
Yeah, I read the first few, and then I'm like, oh, this keeps going. Like, I just expected it to be, you know, like, oh, quickly read through this, add suggestions, not... Oof.
Yeah. No, I went a little overboard with it. Because, like, the first time I did creatures, I did, like, 3 for, like, 5 planets.
Yeah, I've been trying to finalize the list of deities for my stuff, and that's stressing me out enough at the moment. Creating a pantheon of gods is far harder than it should be. Light, you could argue, but I wouldn't bother.
Oh, so close to finishing the realm.
Said smoke would work. Void, you could almost do something similar to what I suggested at the start, because they kind of...
Well, like, Stefan at one point is
their,
holding,
pocket
like...
dimension?
Yeah, Stefan has heaps of people in his pocket dimension that he just lets out when he needs a favour done. In exchange for their freedom.
You exist here until I fucking say so.
Yeah, he exchanges it for their freedom.
But yeah, when you're doing, like, aliens, you could really just come up with
anything,
something that exists just for that.
I could. I don't like creating new species because it's always a chore. Like,
that's fair. Dude asked like half an hour ago if this was still for sale, and I said yeah, and then he just replied now, sold, and I'm like, somebody who's already bought it. You waited too long.
Yeah, this is a good thing to learn about.
Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, because I was going to say, you could almost be like, they do what I joked about before for metamorphosis.
Just create, extra beings. Well, I haven't even gone into, like, how they have, like, new life forms. How do they breed? Like, never really thought into it.
Weirder creatures, it's always like,
Yeah.
Are these...
How do liquid metal creatures reproduce?
Yeah. One thing that really frustrates me is in the Pathfinder universe there's androids, right? So it's like a high fantasy universe, but it's very, like, canonically set in a wider universe, so there's a crashed spaceship that contains androids. And the way the androids reproduce is when they die, a new soul just comes along and takes over the body.
Lol.
And I'm like, okay, that's cool and all, but how do they make new bodies?
They don't.
What? Where did they come from? And in Pathfinder, it's fine to just be like, well, it's space technology, we don't know that, we're still hitting each other with big sticks. But then they made Starfinder, which is literally set in the future of the same universe, and they're like, okay, androids are an independent species now. Where did they come from?
Where'd they go? Where'd they come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah. I don't know too much about your special powers, but I feel like...
I don't want to start with them anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. But I feel like black magic at the very least. You could be like, they summon creatures from beyond.
Black magic's more like Final Fantasy black magic.
I mean, oh yeah, summoning's usually not. Usually its own thing.
Yeah.
How about those pixel remasters though?
Pixel remasters? Oh, I
Did you know about that?
don't really care for old Final Fantasy.
Oh boo. I've just been playing Pathfinder Kingmaker. It's very good. Shit, I had something in my mind. Oh yeah, you could also do. I mean, you've been coming up with all these different creatures and shit, so why not have someone that's like
A
a
Beastmaster?
fucking hunter that
Yeah.
captures animals and yeah.
That was another thing I was looking at too, which would be quite easy to do. Especially like Amazonians are very big on their creatures, so that'd work quite well there.
Yeah,
Just hadn't put much thought into it.
that's fair.
Like that's obviously an easy task. It's just that I want to have, I think, 10 summoners to start with, and that's purely just to fill slots.